Many English learners confuse excuse me, sorry, and I'm sorry, but in the workplace or in business communication, using the wrong one can make you sound impolite or even unprofessional. Do you know the difference? Hello friends, hope you're doing well today. My name is Alina. Here I teach English for work and life, and today we will talk about the difference between excuse me, sorry, and I'm sorry. And of course we will learn some useful phrases for apologizing in both formal and informal situations, a very important communication skill for success at work. So let's begin. To start with, let's clarify what the words excuse and sorry mean. So, as a noun, an excuse is a reason you give when you do something wrong. For example, there is no excuse for being late. It's a very important meeting. And this means that there is no good reason to be late for this particular meeting because it's really important. And sometimes an excuse is not true, but a made-up reason you give just to explain something you did. For example, she was just looking for an excuse to fire him. And this means that she planned or wanted to fire him, and she was just looking for a possibility to do it. And as a verb, to excuse means to forgive something or someone. For example, we can excuse his mistakes. They are not really serious. And this means we do not blame him because of his mistakes, because those mistakes are not really important. And sometimes to excuse means to allow someone not to do something or not to go somewhere when usually they must do it or go there. For example, he was excused from the work meeting last Friday because of an important family event. And this means that he didn't have to go to that work meeting because of family reason. Let's move on and let's take a look at the word sorry. So, sorry can be an adjective or an exclamation. As an adjective, sorry shows that you feel sad or unhappy about something. It also shows regret, sympathy, or that you cannot do something. And as exclamation, sorry is used to say you apologize or to be polite. And our next step is to consider a really helpful table. So this table summarizes the most common situations when we use excuse me, sorry, and I'm sorry. And our task here to learn the best option for each situation. So you can feel free to take a screenshot to save it and study later. So let's start. Let's start with our first situation when you want to get someone's attention. And the best option here is excuse me. For example, excuse me, may I sit here? But of course, it's not a mistake here to say sorry. For example, sorry, do you happen to have the time? Our next situation is when you want to apologize for a small accident. Here the best option is sorry or I'm sorry. For example, that's my foot you're stepping on. Sorry. Or you spilled your coffee on my table. I'm sorry. I'll wipe it up. But of course, you can use excuse me here, although it sounds a little bit more formal and old-fashioned. For example, did I take a seat? Please excuse me. Our next situation is when you want to ask someone to move so you can pause. And here's the best option is excuse me. For example, excuse me, can I just get paused? Also, you can say sorry. It's also natural and a little bit more informal. For example, sorry, could you move a bit, please? Our next situation is when you want to ask someone to repeat or to clarify something. And the best option here is sorry. For example, sorry, I didn't hear that. Can you say it again? But of course, in some cases, you can use pardon or excuse me. Pardon is very polite and slightly formal, and excuse me is less common here, and sometimes it can sound like surprise or mild disagreement. For example, pardon, could you repeat that please? Or excuse me, I didn't quite hear what you said. Our next situation when you want to interrupt or disagree politely. And the best way here is to say, excuse me. For example, excuse me, that was my idea, not yours. Or also you can say, sorry. It's also natural, but a little bit more informal. For example, sorry, Alan, can I get your thoughts on this idea? Our next situation is when you want to politely say you are leaving for a short time. And the best option here is excuse me. For example, excuse me, I have to go now. Or excuse me, I'll be back in a minute. Also, you can say sorry. It's also natural, conversational, and a little bit more informal. For example, sorry, I'll be back right now. Our next situation is when you want to show sadness, sympathy, or disappointment. And the best option here, I'm sorry. It's very sincere and polite. For example, I'm sorry to hear about the delay in your shipment. Or we are sorry that the project didn't meet your expectations. And our next situation is when you have to share unpleasant news. And the best option here is I'm sorry. For example, I'm sorry, but the meeting has been cancelled. Or we are sorry, but the delivery will be delayed because of technical problems. Our next situation is when you want to refuse an offer or request. And the best option here again, I'm sorry. For example, I'm sorry, but I cannot help you with this problem at the moment. And last situation, when you need to show that you regret what you have done. And again, the best option here, I'm sorry, because it really sounds really sincere and it's very suitable for apologies. For example, I'm so sorry about that comment. I didn't mean it. Or we're sorry that our product disappointed you. We will replace it with a new one. Okay, so let's sum it all up at this stage. Excuse me, sorry, and I'm sorry. What's the difference? So, as a rule, we use excuse me before an action to interrupt someone, to get someone's attention, to clarify something, and so on. And I'm sorry and sorry we usually use after a mistake or accident. And I'm sorry is considered to be more formal, more sincere, and more polite. That's why we often use it in work and business situations. And sorry is also commonly used, but it is considered to be more informal and more conversational. That's great, but when talking about apologies, it's always good to know more options than just a simple sorry or I'm sorry, although they are totally fine. But let's consider more options for apologizing in both formal and informal situations. Let's start with formal apologies. I didn't realize that. That wasn't my intention. I'm sorry for any inconvenience this may have caused. Please accept my apology. I'm truly sorry. I shouldn't have done that. I owe you an apology. I sincerely apologize for my actions. I completely understand why you're upset. I take full responsibility. Okay, so now let's try a little bit. So please, this time, just repeat after me. So, I didn't realize that. That wasn't my intention. I'm sorry for any inconvenience this may have caused. Please accept my apology. I'm truly sorry. I shouldn't have done that. I owe you an apology. I sincerely apologize for my actions. I completely understand why you're upset. I take full responsibility. And of course, let's consider an example. Like you sent the wrong file for an important client. I'm really sorry. That wasn't my intention. Please accept my apology. Okay, but please double check it next time. And finally, let's take a look at some informal apologies that are suitable for friends, family members, life partners, close co-workers, and other people you are comfortable and close with. So, my bad. Sorry about that. Oops, my fault. Didn't mean to. I messed up. I overreacted. That's on me. Sorry, that was my mistake. I shouldn't have said that. Please don't be mad at me. Okay, and as usual, let's trend a little bit, so please just repeat after me. So, my bad. Sorry about that. Oops, my fault. Didn't mean to. I messed up. I overreacted. That's on me. Sorry, that was my mistake. I shouldn't have said that. Please don't be mad at me. Okay? And of course, let's consider an example like, you forgot to send me the report. Oops, my fault. Sorry about that. It's okay, just send it now. Just great! Now you know the difference between excuse me, sorry, and I'm sorry. And what's more, you learned more than 20 useful phrases to say I'm sorry in other words, in both formal and informal situations. So save this video, don't forget to subscribe, and for now, that's all. Please stay positive, keep practicing. It's your turn to shine.